It's Love Friday on Freddie and Harry. We're going to bring that love to first take. I'm going to go my top 5 teams that are closest to winning their first Super Bowl. Start with number 5. Let the people see it. Boom. I'm going to go with the Chargers. You jumped the gun a little bit. Jim Harbaugh going to this football team. They can't beat my time and y'all mess it up. Number 5, the Los Angeles Chargers. I love the addition of Jim Harbaugh as a head coach. I think things are going to change for Justin Herbert as a quarterback. Everything's not going to be on his shoulders. He's going to provide that physicality. He's going to provide that run game. He's going to provide stability. It's going to be competent head coaching, calling, and playing. So I'm going with the Chargers at number 5 because what Jim Harbaugh has shown us all is that he can do it at San Diego, he can do it at Stanford, he can do it with the 49ers, and he won a national championship with the Michigan Wolverines, even though a lot of people hated on it. Boom! That's my number 5 team. Number 4, you already see it because they jumped the gun. Relax, everybody. Relax. I'm going with the Buffalo Bills. Now, the window isn't closed, but it's holding on by a shoestring because the AFC has gotten that much better. But as long as you have Josh Allen at the quarterback position, you have a chance. And if you get into the dance, that's all you can ask for is a chance. Number 3, hit them with it. Voila, the Houston Texans. Have y'all not seen what they just did in free agency? Adding Danielle Hunter. They got Joe Mixon at the running back position. I just love this football team. C.J. Stroud, you talk about one person that doesn't care about who he's playing on the opposing team. If it's crunch time, they need a field goal, they need a touchdown. What he showed us in his rookie season is that he's going to be able to get it done. Now free agents are willing to come to Houston, a place that was once a horrible destination for a lot of people. No state income tax, I love that. That's why they number 3. Let's hit it with number 2. Voila! Cincinnati Bengals. I have to put the Bengals up there. A quarterback that's 3-1 versus Patrick Mahomes, that means something to me. I actually seen 1 or 2 people to beat Mahomes in the playoffs. That's been Joe Burrow. They still have Jamar Chase. T. Higgins is still on the team, even though he's disgruntled right now. Hopefully they can figure that out. But Joe Cool, which I call him, Joe Grapefruit Burrow, is still in Cincinnati. That's why they number 2. Number 1, hit them with it. Boom! The Detroit Lions. You talk about culture and what this football team has been able to build, from Brad Holmes to Dan Campbell, from Jared Goff to the running back position with Montgomery. I love this team, and I love the trajectory that they're heading in. I love the free agent moves that they made this past offseason that addressed the defensive needs that they needed. So I'm going with the Detroit Lions as my number 1 team, and I'm inviting the rest of the crew to see if they can do what they do.
Okay, first of all.
Talk to me.
Popeye, that delivery, your first time doing an A-list,
now he's
phenomenal.
Now he's not gonna know how to act ever again.
Like
the energy, the delivery, I'll let them break down the list, give the grades, but that was A+ for sure.
Well, I like the delivery a lot more than I like the list. I mean, I'm going to say this.
Wow, Canty. I love Tyler Canty.
The Chargers, I got to see it before I believe it. I don't know about that. Like, there's been an exodus on the offensive side of the ball in terms of the skill position coordinator. I know Jim Harbaugh is going to play a little bit differently. Philosophically, he looks at it differently. But I don't see the Chargers competing for that division. And to me, if I'm going to talk about getting to the postseason, competing for a championship, there's got to be a clear path to winning the division. Last time I checked, the landlords of the AFC West are still the Kansas City Chiefs. So there's that one. I also got to throw a little bit of a question mark by the Cincinnati Bengals. As much as I love the Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow, you're talking about him finishing the season hurt in 2 of the last 4 years. I'm wondering about Joe Burrow's hurt. Last time we saw Joe Burrow, he couldn't hold a football. Now, him staying upright is also going to be an issue. That offensive line, losing Jonah Williams in free agency. We'll see what happens with that. We'll see what happens with T. Higgins. How are they going to replace Tyler Boyd in free agency? All of those things are questions that have to be figured out. So the Cincinnati Bengals, I'm going to put a little bit of a question mark right there. Not to be disrespectful, because the window is Joe Burrow's career, but I just wonder whether or not they can have Joe Burrow healthy enough to keep that window propped open.
Chris is a hater, number 1. Okay,
Wow.
so because last time I checked his list of the top quarterbacks in the NFL, Joe Burrow was number 2. And the last time
No, he wasn't. No, he was.
Yes,
he was number 2.
Yes, he was.
I know he was. But thank you, Kevin. I don't have to get him because you got him. Because you got him.
Are you talking detail?
Hypocrisy.
Okay.
Wow.
Now
A+ for Kimberly.
hold on. Before you start, he had another quarterback on his top 10 list.
Who?
Justin Herbert.
He
had
did.
Justin Herbert on that top 10 list, too.
Did he have Josh Allen, too?
Yes, he did.
Did he have C.J. Stroud?
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
Okay, but here's where I'm gonna rip your list apart. Okay, so the Chargers, we are way too early on them. Like, again, we just talked about how they're trading away guys. We need to see what this team is. They got to get out of salary caps. I love Justin Herbert, the guy, the player, but we haven't seen it yet, so no. Bills, I am very concerned about the Bills. The window is open as long as Josh Allen is there. However, they're losing too many people right now.
But who's challenging the Bills in the AFC East?
You didn't know? Nah, I don't know, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Does the addition of Brown make the Chiefs the scariest offense in the NFL now?
No, it doesn't make them the scariest offense in the NFL, but it was an integral piece to them trying to three-peat, right? Because it was a glaring need for this football team last year. They cut ties with Marquez Valdez-Scantling. They bring in Marquise Brown. You talk about a guy that can take up the top of the defense. You need that. Patrick Mahomes is going to find a way to find his guys. That's what we've been told. That's what we've seen since he became a starting quarterback in his first year and throwing for over 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns. And Patrick Mahomes is the standard in the National Football League. And when you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, they don't need glaring number one wide receivers, but they need guys that can catch the football and not drop it. So when I look at Marquise Brown, this is a nice addition, and it's the type of wide receiver that Andy Reid is accustomed to drafting and having on his rosters, where you go back to the Philadelphia days or his current Kansas City Chiefs days.
Just a nice addition. Just a nice addition. Baby, the deep ball is back in Kansas City. Come on, give me some excitement, Harry.
I mean, it's not T. Higgins.
Okay.
You want me to think it's T. Higgins?
No, but I am excited.
It's a great move, but
you kind of down. You're like, it's a nice addition to the Kansas City Chiefs. So no, I'm excited about this.
You are?
I am very excited about this. Not necessarily because of Hollywood Brown. I think when you look at his numbers, they've been disappointing. Even the expectations that we had for him in Baltimore, he didn't live up to that. Though he had decent numbers, Arizona with Kyler Murray getting hurt and that whole I don't know what was really happening in Arizona. That's what I kind of not blame, but that's what I look at the quarterback position in that offense when I see his numbers. I'm excited because, to your point, Harry, Patrick Mahomes doesn't need top-tier talent.
Nope.
The way he got speed. Like, think about that offense when we talked about the Chiefs last year. A lot of people thought, oh, that's it. These dudes can't catch the ball. Chiefs, this offense is done.
Not so fast. Not so fast.
Now, the idea, we haven't thought about speed on this offense since Tyreek, real legit speed. And I know they have Rashee Rice and they have other pieces, but I think Hollywood is just another piece that makes a defensive coordinator have to think, okay, who can
another scarier weapon?
Yeah.
But I just have one thing I wanted to push back on and tell me, because you know more closely. But was it that Hollywood Brown wasn't that good with the Ravens, or was it just the way they were running that offense? That he wasn't really.
He was a 1,000-yard receiver in Baltimore, so he was a good player.
When he got there, you thought, okay, now they got some what?
He didn't unlock Lamar Jackson in the way that we thought he would. He didn't start out as hot as Zay Flowers, another first-round draft pick from the Ravens, did.
But I think it's
both.
both.
To answer the question, though, it already was the scariest offense in the NFL because you got Patrick Mahomes. He lost Tyreek Hill, the fastest player in the NFL, certainly the fastest guy with the ball in his hands. And all he's done since he lost Tyreek Hill is win back-to-back championships. And, oh, by the way, I'm going to give you a regular season MVP and 2 Super Bowl MVPs.
But go based on weapons. Take Patrick Mahomes out of the equation. I know it's Patrick Mahomes and everyone else, but if we're talking a top quarterback and some solid offensive weapons, who else is in the mix?
Well, I mean, you have to have
49ers, Lions, Dolphins, Ravens, Eagles.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the Baltimore Ravens, too. Yeah, the Baltimore Ravens are scary.
They're not scary.
They're scary.
To Chris's point, they're scary because of 15.
They're scary because of 15. But here's the thing. I like the Hollywood Brown addition because it's a reliable veteran player that has speed. And if you're talking about the third receiver in somebody's skill position core, then that's pretty good.
He's going to catch the football.
That's pretty good. He's going to be reliable. But he's also going to be behind Travis Kelce. He's going to be behind Rashee Rice in terms of target share. And that's fine. but he's a guy on a broken play that can be a house call waiting to happen. And I think that's the element that we've been missing from the Kansas City Chiefs offense. When Patrick Mahomes jumped on the scene when he was throwing for 50 touchdown passes, he had those breakaways to Tyreek Hill. This is a guy that can provide you some of those same elements, even though we know he's a lesser player.
Now, Kmart wants me to be jumping out of my seat.
I'm just used to,
For a guy going to a team that's won 2 Super Bowls without Tyreek Hill.
I'm with you.
So I'm not going to be jumping out of my seat because they got Hollywood Brown. I like the signing.
But it's like
going to be meaningful for the Kansas City Chiefs. But like I mentioned, it's not like they're getting T. Higgins.
But they have 15. Like, we've seen them win a Super Bowl.
So why the hell are you jumping out of your seat if they have 15, Kmart?
Right.
They got another playmaker.
Again, the vertical threat. A guy that you said was a veteran receiver. A guy that you said is reliable.
But that doesn't mean I have to jump out of my seat.
Oh, it does.
You said, Harry, you played the wide receiver position.
Get excited about it.
So I'm not going to jump out of my seat.
They trying to.
What free agency move were you more excited about?
For me, it's Kirk Cousins to Atlanta.
Oh,
here we go.
Okay, look at all of y'all. How you sunk in your seats? Because Kirk Cousins going to Atlanta.
How far are you guys going?
I expect number one for them to win the NFC South and a divisional round appearance. And anything can happen there.
We paid $100 million to win one divisional round game.
Yeah, Kmart, you got to crawl before you walk too. We still need an edge. We need guys to rush the passer.
We're not getting any younger, Harry.
Yeah,
To answer your question, I think the offense that's done the most in free agency to help their quarterback, the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
I mean, they went out, they got Saquon Barkley, they added Devontae Parker, you got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Like, you've got a lot of elements there for Jalen Hurts to work with. If you want to get him back to the quarterback that we saw in 2022 and have less of the quarterback that we saw have 20 turnovers in 23, I think adding those pieces is going to make life a whole lot easier for them. But from a productivity standpoint, I'm still not willing to say that that's going to be an offense that's capable of doing what the Kansas City Chiefs can do because of Patrick Mahomes, but then also adding another reliable receiver in that skill position core. Like, they were still a top 10 offense last year. They still were top 10 in passing touchdowns, and they're getting a lot better by adding Hollywood Brown as their number 3.
The Chiefs, the goal is to win Super Bowls back to back.
Yeah, repeat.
So
never been done since the merger.
That's why I'm excited, Harry. Got some speed.
I hear you, but that defense was also top 5.
What's the best spot for Justin Fields now?
It's tough because a lot of good places that you would think would make sense has closed, and we know that the teams in the first 3 have options, and they choose to go cheap and talented as well with their quarterback for their regime. You know, what makes Justin Fields intriguing but also difficult is that, you know, next year he's going to be up for, if you're going to pick up his 5th-year option. We saw that with Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield, and, you know, they moved on from it later. I think right now, I don't understand why the Denver Broncos aren't in the conversation. I know Sean Payton prefers to have a type of quarterback that throws the ball in rhythm on time. This is a guy who I feel like in Justin Fields has, you know, I feel sorry for him because he's been put in a worse situation. And we see a lot of times when you're the first pick or top pick, you don't go to the most ideal situation. I think it's going to be different this time because the Bears have the top pick, but it's the Panthers pick. They're a much better team than what the team that Justin Fields was on. But I think the Denver Broncos, in a time where they're going to carry $38 million of dead cap space because of Russell Wilson, can give their team an opportunity to still win while they're rebuilding and resetting the market, because if he doesn't play well, they can move on from him because they don't have to pick up the option, but it gives them time to evaluate their other players. A lot of times you worry about, you know, saying, oh, well, we don't need a quarterback, but to be able to evaluate the receivers and the talent around you, I don't think the Denver Broncos have the quarterback on a roster that they allow you to do that in a strong manner. And they're rebuilding. Losing Judy, losing Simmons is a big loss.
I don't know what to say about Justin Fields anymore.
Purple
it's like
rain.
Purple rain. Yeah, I honestly, it does make me sad. And I understand Ryan Poles. Like, I spoke to him at the Combine, interviewed him, and he reiterated, I'm just trying to do, I want to do right by Justin.
But how?
That time is past.
Yep.
They didn't do right by Justin when they drafted him, based on the regime that was there, that did draft him, and then the situation that he's in now. At this point, I would rather just see, Justin's just got to be a backup somewhere.
See, but that's a disservice. Like, listen.
How good is he?
That's
like,
what
what is his talent level? Do we know?
We don't know. I think he can be just as good as Jalen Hurts.
But
I think he has that type of talent, that ability. But if the Chicago Bears ain't gonna come off of that second-round pick or whatever, it has to be something that you don't have to win every trade.
Well,
like, do right by the kid.
So that is, you have, to Molly's point, there's the question within the NFL about the talent. How it's a very subjective.
Yeah.
Some people thought very highly of him. Others were like, he's like a project. I don't really see it. Then you have the compensation piece. You have a GM in Ryan Poles who gave up the first pick last year, now has it again, wants to reset their whole situation on a cheaper rookie scale. Fine, but that leaves Justin out. But even checking in yesterday with people, I'm told there's a market for Justin. I've talked to NFL people this week on teams that need QBs, are still in the QB market, and they've said, listen, the longer this drags on, the cheaper he becomes. So it's not just about the questions about his talent. It really becomes about the compensation as well. And what are you willing to give up? If I know that Harry, he's got too many quarterbacks soon, I'm going to wait him out. I'm going to just wait because I'm going to try to get the guy I want for much cheaper. But Harry is going to feel like I'm not giving away something that's potentially valuable for nothing. And then you have this stalemate. I talked to people this week that were like, it makes sense for them to keep him.
But you have an abundance of money and resources, so who cares if you get a fourth instead of a second if you're doing right by the kid when you know you've done wrong by the kid
it's not
his
about,
entire regime?
If I'm Ryan Poles, I'll be like, you know
involved.
what? I didn't take the kid. He wasn't my pick. I'm trying to do right by him now, but my main objective is doing right by the Chicago Bears organization for today, tomorrow, and the future.
We also got to understand this. I think for the Chicago Bears, sometimes, Bart, you've taken L's. Kmart, you've taken L's. Molly, I've taken some, but you've taken some, and I've taken some.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to chalk up these L's, man, and move along. And sometimes it's I know it doesn't sound the greatest, but keeping Justin Fields on this roster, if you draft Caleb Williams, is organizational malpractice, in my opinion.
So counter to, because again, we're in agreement, but just playing devil's advocate, when is Justin Fields going to be more valuable to another team? You could say next season.
No. When someone gets injured and it's like week 6.
That's what I'm saying. So if you're the Bears,
I get what you're saying.
We all get what you're saying.
The fat pig got slaughtered. I call it karma. I'm the same page with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't want to be going down that road. Like, you won because you're right here and the Panthers were horrible.
To Kimberly's point, it's a business and they might not care.
But they have salary cap space coming. They got multiple draft picks.
I like the Raiders.